About 3 or 4 years ago, the Holiday Inn, which I own up the road there, won top awards for Europe for, they call it the Torchbearer Award. That puts you in the top 3% of Holiday Inns in the world. And the Bon Auberge, which is in there, the restaurant, won Restaurant of the Year for Europe. And we're getting the awards in Paris, in the Intercontinental in Paris. And you know, I've always used the Tour d'Argent, for example, as being a benchmark of where I set out my stall and things I aspire to. And because the staff had all heard about it, we were going to accept her awards. And I went out a day early, and on the Sunday night I took the head chef and the manager S, who had been the GM at the time, to the Tour d'Argent, you know. And you know, I couldn't believe a Sunday night. It was busy, you know. I was busy, and at midnight, I'd been talking to the waiters and so on, and let them know that, you know, obviously the personnel have changed somewhat in the last while. But about midnight, one of the waiters came up and said, "Monsieur Terraille wants to see you." And I thought it must be Claude Terraille's son, because Claude Terraille was the owner when I was working there. Anyway, I go out, and sure, it was him. And I thought he might have been dead. Anyway, it was a great moment for me, in that I could then, as an adult, and modestly successful adult, I could actually thank him for changing my life, because his standards and his kick up the backside set out my stall for the rest of my life, and I managed to thank him before, and he died about a year later. Being a professor at Strathclyde University, that's a big thing for me. I'm not as much in demand as now that the Scottish Hotel School is not pushing it as much as it was, but that was a major thing for me, especially having come from an academic background. The defining moment was when I opened my first French restaurant, the Bon Auberge, which was in Bastille Day 1975, and that was one of the most successful ventures that we had in the whole company, and it turned the company from being bread and water to being stew. I don't set myself up as being in any way special in this regard, but I got an immense amount of satisfaction from seeing people, the young people coming through that university, and being allowed to motivate them. And you know, I think it's wonderful. I mean, they do respond, I've found, to people who actually have walked the walk and talked the talk, because, you know, it's not all about the theory. There is a bit of practical, and when they actually can, if you like, touch and feel a real member of that profession, whatever it is, engineering or hotel keeping, I found that I'm fortunate in that I feel capable of motivating them, and it's a great feeling to think of these young people, you know, being motivated and going out and doing twice as good or 3 times as good. I mean, I'm fundamentally a competitive animal, you know, and I think that these young people, that, you know, that if they get the values, and if they get inspired the way I was inspired, then they'll go out and do great things. Don't be fooled that it's going to be a walk in the park. Dream, think it's going to be tough, and get your jacket off and get into it. And don't waste any time. Have a go. Might it fail? Yes, it might. But the chances of it failing are a lot less if you get off your jacket and you're not looking for a Santa Claus to come and dump some fivers on your lap. Go and work for it, and it will happen. There is no alternative to having to eat. That is, human beings don't have an alternative. You've got to eat. So my advice to anyone is to get into a business which is roughly allied with the discipline that you've studied. It doesn't have to be spot on. Challenge it. But once you get your foot in the wrong, once you get your foot, then you can prove to the employer how wonderful you are. Because I employ 3,000 people right now, and I'm looking all the time. I need these unique people who want to get off their rear end and go and climb that tree. I mean, you can sit in the acorn and wait for it to grow, or you can get off your butt and go and climb the tree. And I'm looking for these people. So there's always an opportunity. Don't be so concerned. I mean, I've said this to my own family. Don't be so concerned with the hourly rate and how many hours you're working. Just get off your jacket, throw yourself into it, enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, get something you do enjoy.